So apparently my video on the lemons winning at the end of Cars 2 was very popular, getting about 10,000 views in a week, which for me is pretty big. And a lot of people mentioned aspects that I didn't cover or expand upon in that video. So I guess this is a second video about how the lemons won in the end of Cars 2. Just like in the first one, I do go off the deep end in the end of this video and speculating about Cars dictators and world events in the Cars universe, so stick around for that. Or you can just skip to the end of the video if that's all you're here for. Either way, I don't care. First things first, all of the lemons versus the lemon plot. There's no way that all of the Pacers, Gremlins, Trunk-Offs, and Yugos that were working on all of the oil rigs at the start of the film were arrested. Okay, they were just there working, doing their jobs, totally legal, there's nothing on them. Perhaps just the lemons on the oil rig that Finn McMissile destroyed, but guess what? Most of those cars are dead. So there were tons of oil rigs with lemons working there on the ocean, perfectly legal, pumping in that sweet, sweet cash. So I think they all won out in the end there, you know? Regarding the bosses and their assets, yeah, Sir Axelrod will likely face some jail time and of course get his knighthood taken away from him. But the guy's rich, and I see no reason why he can't hire an amazing lawyer to not only get his charges of conspiracy and probably just business fraud on him, as all in all isn't an alternative fuel despite him selling it as so. But perhaps Axelrod can bribe a judge or something like that, because the guy's already loaded with cash and he can get the best legal team in the Cars universe that can be offered to him. So I feel like if all he did was hire Saul Goodmercedes, then he's perfectly fine. Maybe Sir Axelrod would be able to pin most of the charges on Professor Z as his fall guy. Also, is Professor Z even a lemon? Like, what kind of car is he? Using Google and Wikipedia, the greatest source of all time, I found out that he's a Zundap Janus, a microcar model made by the Zundap company in Germany between 1957 and 1958, as the only car ever built by the company, and it failed. So, I guess you could say Professor Z is a lemon, but he's just a loser. Another reason that I think the lemons won in Cars 2 was at the end of the film, Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell went to Radiator Springs to bring Mater onto another mission. What was Finn McMissile's other mission? We never find out, do we? Was it to pick up all of the other lemons who escaped? Was it to arrest lemons in international waters or in non-extradition countries? Because, you know, all of those oil rigs with the lemons on it, they're untouchable, they're perfectly fine. But would targeting all of the lemon cars in the Cars world even be legal? Since all Pacers, Gremlins, Trunk-Offs, and Yugos are not necessarily part of the plot? I find that very unlikely. There was also no alternative fuel in Cars 3, so maybe the lemon plot in Cars 2 actually worked. As far as I could tell, nobody was researching green energy in any Cars media past Cars 2, so the lemons were successful in spreading fear into the idea of even researching alternative fuel, despite the fact that all in all was just a variant of gasoline. So the lemons appear to have solidified the usage of regular gasoline for the foreseeable future, and with all of those oil rigs, they're winning. Since one of the major grievances of the lemons was that they were outcasts and had constantly to get new parts, why didn't the lemons just use all of their cash to create an industrial plant to reproduce all of their old parts for free for themselves, and get private tow trucks as a core for themselves, you know? They're rich from all that oil money regardless of the whole all-in-all plot, so why not? Nah, the lemon bosses just had to put all of their money into all in all, and their plot, which partially succeeded, I guess, but you know what? They can do them. Mater had referred to lemons as a tow truck's best friend at the start of Cars 2, but did he actually mean this in a genuine way? Or was something more sinister afoot? Was he actually stating the superiority of all other car models? When captured in Big Ben, Mater referred to Grem the Gremlin and Acer the Pacer as, quote, dadgum lemons. This is clearly a slur used by Mater, and therefore all other cars in the Cars universe against the lemons, so the lemons are obviously the victims in this movie. Alright, on to the dictators and general messing about. If you didn't see part 1, Saddam Hussein ruled over Ba'athist Iraq after he came to power in the 1970s and fought a war with Iran in the 80s. He invaded Kuwait in 1990, kicking off the Gulf War, and was toppled in 2003. When Italy came under the control of Benito Mussolini in 1922's Drive on Rome, did he use poison gas on Ethiopian cars during the invasion of the country in 1935? And did poison gas have any effects as cars drink gasoline? Does chemical warfare have any effect in the Cars universe? Do they ingest the gas and get poisoned, or do they just oxidize and is that their form of being poisoned? These are the real questions that need answering, not boring crap about the universe. In more recent news, at the end of the Styrian civil war, Bashar al-Mazda fled to the Russian capital of Moscow and was given refuge by Vladimir Putin. Does that mean that Bashar al-Mazda and Vladimir Putin will be the next villains in Cars 4 instead of Saddam Hussein? Who knows, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's part 2 of why the Lemons won in the amazing film that is Cars 2. What do you think? Did the Lemons win? Write in the comments, and thank you for watching.